This is episode number 530 of the Health Fitness Podcast by InnerFight, brought to you in association with Smith Street Paleo. As always, please do hop over to smithstreetpaleo.com. Check out all the recipes over there. Meals delivered to you. Jump on one of the meal delivery plans. If you live in the UAE, if you live in Dubai more specifically, hop on to Deliveroo, Uber, Talabat. They're listed all over there. You can get meals delivered directly to you pretty much right now, as long as it's within the hours of operation. If not, jump on a meal plan. Super easy, takes away all the headache of having to prepare your own food. SmithStreetPaleo.com is where you need to head over to. By popular demand, folks, yes, a lot of you requested this. I have with me today in 3 separate interviews the new coaches, the 3 new male coaches that we've got here in a fight. We kick off with Riccardo, then I move into Minhal and round out the show with Lloyd. These guys, it was awesome to speak to them. We do about 15 minutes with each of them, digging in a little bit to their upbringing, what sport meant to them. They all take us through their first CrossFit workout. So if you guys have recently started CrossFit or recently started any form of training and after a few minutes felt really not too good, had to sit down, these guys will make you feel a lot better about yourself, because we all had that experience. 3 great guys. We kick off with Riccardo, we drop into Minhal, and we round out the show with Lloyd. They're awesome guys. Hopefully you've seen them down here in a fight. If not, connect with them. Go over to the show notes and you can get all their social media, have a chat with them, ask them questions. They'd love to hear from you. But I really enjoyed chatting to these 3, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. Here we go then. As I said there, folks, you're going to hear from the 3 new coaches we've got here. Who better to kick it off with than the man from Italy, Riccardo. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you so much. I'm actually excited because I've seen a lot of podcasts and I'll be part of it. It's pretty cool. Huh?
Mate, yeah, well, let's see what you've got. Mate, kick us off. Where are you from? Where does this crazy accent come from? Give us a little bit of background.
All right. So I'm from Rho, which is a little town just right outside Milano in Italy.
Right.
And I've been living there pretty much my life. I've been in Italy most of the time up until I was like 21, 22.
Yeah.
And then I started to travel. I've been up north in Europe quite a while, and then sometimes in London around like 6-7 months. And after that, I moved to Bali in Indonesia for 2 years, and now it's 1 year in Dubai. So.
Mate, I want to just, before we go more into sort of your upbringing, your story of how you got to Bali is actually quite crazy. And I remember when we first sat down, you told me. So you can really steal the hearts of everyone here. Tell everyone how you got to Bali.
So I had absolutely no plan of going to Bali. My main plan was to go to Australia. So I just collect enough money that I needed to pass the border in Australia, because you need to have at least like $3,000, and that's all I had at the time. So on my way to Australia, I stopped by to visit my brother in Malaysia because he was living there. And then I was like, oh, Asia is pretty cool, so let's give it a go. So I just opened Google and I found the CrossFit affiliates in Bali. Yeah. And out of the blue, I just messaged 2 gyms that was over there. One didn't reply to me, and the other one told me that they were not looking for coaches, but the tickets to go to Bali was $40. So I was like,
from Malaysia, from KL.
From Malaysia, yeah. So I was like, what can go so wrong? So I just turned up there, paid my membership for a week, and just trained with the rest of the gym, and asked the owner, like, mate, if you want to keep me here, I'll stay. Otherwise, I'm just going to go to Australia.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, we can try you out for a week or so. And that's how it started. So it started with a 1-week free trial contract to like 2-3 months as assistant coach, turned into a head coach, and then just like managing the
2 years later, you moved to Dubai, mate. I think, as I said, I think that's it. That's an awesome story. But, mate, before that, give us a little bit of background. Obviously, you're quite a tall guy. You've got a background in basketball. But what was sport to you when you were growing up? How did you first get involved in it, and what did sport mean to you?
I think I was actually talking with Andre a little bit earlier. He was talking to me about Disney cartoon. I was like, mate, I think I've never seen one of them, because I just grew up in a sport environment, and that's what I've been doing ever since I was a kid. In my house, we had like a big family house, and my uncle used to be a motocross rider, so I grew up going down to my basement and see those motocross bikes over there. Right. And when I was 3.5 years old, I had my first motorcycle, and I started to do motocross when I was like real young. Yeah.
Wow.
With that, I was also doing swimming. My mom was taking me there, and on the weekend we were going skiing. So I've always been like real active ever since I was a kid. So I still belong to the generation of kids grew up with a ball instead of an iPad. So
how do you feel about that, mate?
so happy I was a part of that.
Yeah.
So it all started like that up until then. I went to play some soccer, and one day my mom brought me to a basketball practice. She was like, try this out, maybe you'll like it. And I clearly did not like it my first time.
Really?
I hated it.
Yeah.
I was just like, the shy kid just sitting on the stands for the whole time, not wanting to join the others.
Yeah.
That was me.
Wow.
So
mate, that's quite different from the way that your personality comes across now. So how did it go after that then? How did you break it down? How did things go?
And I think like at the beginning I could be like quite shy, or I used to be, and then eventually like my personality grew and I'm more confident in a lot of things. So she brought me back on my second practice, and I decided to join the kids, and then I loved it. So I've been doing that for 16 years, and I guess that builds a lot of, it doesn't build your character, it reveals it, because like it puts you into some situation, or you have to make some decision from early days for me that tested me somehow. So I'm really glad that I had those experiences. And like ever since I stopped to play basketball as well, I couldn't stop doing some sort of sports. I've done some Muay Thai. Yeah. I've been outside biking and running. I've been like everything up until I ended up to CrossFit.
Let's go there next then. How did you get into CrossFit?
Also there was quite random, so like everything in my life.
Yeah,
I guess.
Seems it.
So I finished to play basketball, and what I really missed was that spirit of like be competitive, compete one against each other, push yourself to the limit. Because I was going to a regular gym, but that was not giving me any sort of challenge. I was just going there, lift some weights, go home, but it was nothing like, there was nothing other than that. Yeah. So I was playing basketball with some like older friends of mine, and he was like, you should try CrossFit with me. And I literally asked him, what is CrossFit?
What is it?
I didn't even know what that was.
Yeah, right.
So he brought me in. I did a workout. It was like 15 calories on the rower, 15 wall balls for 3 rounds. I died.
Really?
That was the hardest thing I've done in my life.
Yeah.
But I loved it. For the first time, I was like, oh, I'm competing again. I'm doing something against someone else. I'm making myself better. It's hard. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. So I started from there in Italy, and it just kicked in. Like I just loved it. I couldn't stay away from it. So
when did you sort of, okay, so you get in and you enjoy the workout. It's hard. The atmosphere is probably a little bit very different to what you've been doing, although there's a lot of similar characteristics. When did you sort of decide, okay, actually, I really like this enough to try and coach people and to sort of see if I can make a career from it?
It all started, so when I did CrossFit, it was a time that I was working. So I was working in finance. So I was like a suit and tie guy for the whole day. So you would never see me there. So I just finished my training, and my coach back then, which is still my coach and my best friend, he was like, you're going to coach the next class. And I was like, what? I was like, you're going to coach the next class.
Really?
I was like, mate, I've never coached in my life.
This was in Italy?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like, you're going to try now? I was like, all right. I was like, what? Can I try tomorrow? I was like, not now. So I was like, oh, all right. So yeah, just finished my training, put a new t-shirt on, and went on and coached my first class. And I loved it. Like first few minutes was freaking out because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And of course he was in the corner like helping me out on everything. And he was like, okay, come back tomorrow. I'll let you coach another few classes with me.
Oh, really?
And it kicked in like that until I was like, man, I actually enjoy this.
How long did it take before you sort of started feeling comfortable, started to enjoy it?
I think, luckily, I started coaching in a gym where I already knew the people. So I think the major step for me was make sure that these guys were not seeing me anymore just as a friend, but more as a coach as well. So I need to build my credibility a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
So I tried to do the things right. I was making sure that when they come to the work and I was coaching them, I was serious and I was doing my thing right. And then they could see me as a friend again after the class.
Right. So it's pretty important, that relationship between, especially when you're coaching people you know.
Exactly, because like you want them to take you seriously. Yeah. You don't impose that to anyone. You need to behave in a way that people take that. Like you can't say, okay, now you listen to me as a coach. You need to behave in a way to see you as a coach. So
and you have to earn that respect, don't you? You have
absolutely.
To, like, it takes a little bit of time.
So for me, like I really was paying attention to whatever they were doing. Just try to actually go there and coach them, and not just be there cheerleading them and be like, the funny guy just being in the room. I want to like, okay, I want to coach you guys. I want you to see me as your coach in this hour. Yeah. So like being in front of people became comfortable, because like, coming from basketball, you play in front of 1,000 people. Like the beginning can be scary, but then you get used to it. So for me, standing in front of 15 people was not the big challenge. Yeah. Was to make sure that they would see me as a coach. As it is coming in an environment like that, like good coaches, and then you come in and you want people to like respect you the way they respect the others.
Yeah, of course. It's I think that's one of the biggest things, obviously, through coaching, mate, is making sure you get that respect from the people so that you can actually command a decent class, which the way you started out, if you're just a member going into it, it's a huge challenge, right?
I know, but it's exciting at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's been one of the things in my life. Every time I felt I was good at something or I was not challenged anymore, I'll get bored, bored, like straight away. So for me, like keep on moving on things that keeps me challenged all the time is what keeps me alive. Like you have something that every day you feel like, you know, that little bit of tension before you do something. Like it's the one that actually makes you, okay, I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
So I think you need to have that feeling all the time, because if you lose that feeling, like what are you doing it for?
And is that why you ended up leaving Bali and moving to the UAE, just trying to look for the next thing or for something more that challenges you?
Absolutely. Like honestly, in Bali, I was living my dream life. I had my house. Like time was great. I was the coach in one of the nicest gym around there.
Yeah.
I could have stayed as long as I wanted to, but I felt I was getting comfortable.
Right.
And I don't like that at all.
Yeah,
so I was like, okay, what's something that is going to push me to be uncomfortable? I was like, try to go into an environment where you're the newest guy, the one with least experience, and then try to see if you can step up to that level. So that's why I was like, Bali was great for me because it gave me a lot of hours of coaching. I met so many people, so I could experience a lot of different things and a lot of different coaching styles.
I guess the population, the people in the class is quite transient. Like it's constantly new, so it makes coaching a massive challenge.
Yeah, because every day you get someone dropping in that has never done anything before, but at the same time you have members that they want to progress on something. So on one hand you have someone that has never done a single air squats, and on the other hand you have someone that want to progress a ring muscle up.
Folks, that is one of the hardest things as a coach, to have that big. And I mean, we have it here at InnerFight as well. We've got 20 people in the class. You know, we know that not everyone is going to be elite, but that's really where a good coach separates himself from a pretty shit one, really, right?
Yeah, I think, So like everyone at the end of the day, they pay the same money to be in the class, so they want the same attention and they want to progress the same way. So you should be able to give both of the two clients the same experience. It doesn't matter their level. The thing that makes it something easier, maybe at InnerFight, is the fact that you have people coming in every day. So if someone is new, you see him the first day, the second, the third, the fourth, and then he's going to be with you for months or years. Yeah. While the hardest part in Bali was to have someone come in today and he's new, and then tomorrow is another one, and then is another one. So you don't really know any of them.
It's hard. Yeah.
So, but it's great. It's great. Like it really challenges you on like make sure that everyone get a good experience.
Mate, talking about coaching, and this wasn't in the notes that I sent to you, but if we asked 5 of your members that have been with you for a long time, or clients that have been with you for a long time, what sort of coach are you? What would they say about you?
I think they would say that I'm like personal in a way, because like one of the things that I like the most is like click with people or connect with people. Like I don't just want to throw CrossFit in people's throat, like just do CrossFit. Like I want to understand why you're at the gym. I want to understand how much effort you want to put in and why you want to put in that effort, or like where you want to go. So for me, it really comes down, like I usually know every member's, like I know every name, what they do in their life, what they do in their job. Like it's really, I like to create that sort of familiar environment where they comes in and don't they just see me as like the tall tattoo guy that's going to coach me for an hour, but like someone that actually cares about. So I think the thing for me is that I'm really the emotional intelligent. We've been talking now, just want to coach the coaches meeting. I think that's one of my strengths, and if you ask 2 people, probably that's what they will ask you, like that I know all about them, they know all about me. Very cool. So we can, like, there's a good chemistry between me and my clients most of the time.
Very cool. Mate, talking about competing in CrossFit, obviously what we've seen in the last almost 10 years now is that good coaches are good athletes, or not vice versa, but we often see coaches getting into coaching because they want to become athletes, and then we see what we've come to know as top-level athletes just sort of trying to make a buck coaching. You're quite different in that you care about people, but you still have athletic goals. You're still, you're training at the moment a lot with Boz to help her for the games. How do you focus your training? Because I remember when we first sat down, you're like, I'm not really that bothered to go on the top level of this sport. I like it, and you're incredibly good at it. So how do you focus your training? How do you motivate yourself to keep training, and sort of where are you going to take that?
So the easy part for me is that I've always enjoyed the training kind of more than I've always enjoyed the competing part. So
Right. Wow.
I've always liked to put the work. So it's never been hard for me. Like it's never been hard to like sacrifice going out with my friends because I had practice the day after, because I've always enjoyed the practice time.
Right.
And same here with balls. Like for me, honestly, get my ass kicked on a daily basis is awesome. So I do enjoy the training. So like, you know, I had some fitness goals, but now coming into this environment, they're changing completely because they're like, the level is going higher and higher and higher. So
right.
I don't want to put a limit on myself of what I can or cannot do.
Yeah.
Honestly, like training with someone like Boz push you to give your best every single day.
Sure.
The volume has increased, the quality has increased, the intensity
How's
has
your body
increased.
feel?
Next question. But, you know, like when you train like that and you see that you're starting to be capable of things that you didn't thought you could, or like things are progressing way faster than you thought, it's like, okay, why should I stop then? Or why, if I keep on going like that, like I don't want to set myself on a limit. Of course, I'm going to try like different events in the next year and things like that. Yeah. And I just enjoy training a lot.
Very cool. Mate, that's very cool. Before we've got a little time limit because we're going to fit, as I said at the start, we're going to fit everyone in one show. So before we wrap up with you, mate, ask this question to a lot of podcast guests. If you've obviously learned a lot along the way in this short journey that you've had, what would be your one piece of advice that you just give to everyone that you think wraps up everything?
Invest on yourself. Like, if you want to be good, if you want to be professional, invest time on yourself, on your education, make yourself the best version you can be, and just work hard. Like, there's no shortcuts. Yeah. And one last thing is that try to find something that you're really passionate about. Like, that really changed your life. Like, today I was talking with someone. I woke up like 4:15 to come to work, and it's not a big deal. Yeah. If I think to any other job and I have to wake up at 4:15, I was like, oh my God. Yeah. But
I often think that about this job, and like, you probably still, you know, you might, okay, well, we sometimes have time off in the day or hours where we don't have actual coaching to do, but then there's something to think about. There's always a client to send a message, there's an Instagram post to make, and you might be here at 6:30, 7 o'clock tonight as well.
Yeah, like if you ask my friends, they think that I just live at the beach most of the time, but that's not true, because they think our fitness coach, you work 2 hours a day, but there's a lot of other work behind, you know, like do online programming and then call the clients and do all your thing. But if you like it, like when it's really work, like for me, I come in the gym at 6, 7 in the morning, leave at 8, 9 at night now with Ramadan. Like, when am I working? When am I chilling? And when am I training? Like, you know, it's a good melting. So, like, if you do enjoy, if you find something that you're passionate about, like, your life is definitely going to change. So,
absolutely.
If you're into fitness, into finance, into whatever you are into it, find something you're passionate about and make sure you can be the best version of yourself in that thing, because that's just really going to change your life.
Awesome. Riccardo, welcome to InnerFight, mate. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Super interesting. And, mate, we wish you the very best.
Appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Here we go then with the second new coach. This guy actually looks a little bit more nervous than Riccardo did. Riccardo is very chilled out. But Minhal, mate, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Mate, you're not a stranger. Yeah. We've known each other for... almost 7, 8, 9 years.
Yeah, but if we're going back, we're going back to the days of, if I can mention, Evolve.
Yeah.
On the rooftop.
On the rooftop. So you are almost an InnerFight OG, mate. You sort of,
I would like to consider myself so.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Mate, let's kick things off by learning a little bit more about you, where you're from, where you grew up. Tell us what's going on.
Okay, so my parents come from India. They moved to the UAE in the early 70s. So I was born in Dubai, in Al Wasl Hospital, which I think was one or two hospitals that was there in Dubai at that time. Born in Dubai, grew up in Dubai. I think like many people who have grown up in the beginnings of Dubai, I had a very special type of lifestyle. Everything was sort of handed down to me on a plate. I never had to work much for myself. You know? I mean, my dad was there working his ass off every day.
Really?
Sort of giving us the life that we sort of wanted. You know?
Wow.
Yeah, which is obviously nice to have.
Yeah.
I live with my grandparents as well, who were pretty religious people. So I had that sort of aspect to my life as well. You know, even though being a bit spoiled through my parents, I was put in line by my grandparents. Yeah.
So you lived with them when you were growing up?
While I was growing up, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of discipline.
A lot of discipline, obviously, because they're quite traditional. And living in Dubai, going to an international school, you learn sort of different ways.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so then learning that, bringing it back home, there was a bit of mix.
Yeah, it's always tough, mate. Obviously, growing up here myself as well, and I remember when I got sent off to boarding school, and I got told later the reason why, which we won't go into on this show. But mate, give us a little bit of background on your first sort of encounter with sport as a kid, because in Dubai in those days there wasn't a lot. So what was sport to you? What are your early memories of sport?
So throughout primary school, I used to play football in school, after school, during school. I was in the football team growing up. But I think, that was more of a social event for me. I think my parents even put me in there just to keep me busy at that time. My first true memory, I think, there was a brother and sister in my grade who were just incredibly good at swimming. And they're on their physical looks, they just had these big, broad shoulders. And I remember I was always in awe of them, thinking, wow, these guys are good at swimming because they're built for it. I'm not built for this stuff, so I'm not gonna bother to do it.
Yeah. So, but was that? So did it put you off?
I don't know where that thought came from. It was just like thinking, okay, so see, I'm not built that way, so I'm not genetically made to swim, so I'm not going to bother to swim like these guys were,
So how did you turn it around?
Mate, that's going a little later on. I started going to the gym.
How old were you when you first went to a gym?
I think I was about 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a group of friends going to a gym. Quite a famous gym in Dubai, actually. You might have
Nashwan?
No, well, Al Raisi Gym.
Al Raisi Gym.
One of the oldest gyms in Dubai.
Yeah.
Just started doing what we thought was bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Just a few reps, bench press here and there.
Did you, mate? At that age, I know my early gym memories are so clear, and I know what it was all about.
Yeah.
What was gym to you at that time?
Mate,
how did it feel?
Gym to me at that time was just like looking in front of the mirror, pumping some weights, going once we were done, we'd go outside, have a pack of cigarettes.
Really,
that's what it was like growing up for me.
Really,
not the best of lifestyles growing up.
Yeah.
It's just the way it was.
It's just the way it was.
Yeah.
So when did the change come around then, mate? Like, how did things transpire from there?
I think what changed my lifestyle, if we're going to fast forward a few more years of living unhealthily, let's go back to bodybuilding. So doing my bodybuilding things, later on, Instagram comes out. Yeah. And what happens on Instagram, everyone posts their pictures, right? Yeah. Hashtags come out later. Yeah. Somehow I stumbled upon Dubai Fitness, or I think I even came up across a hashtag like functional training or something, and somehow it popped up one of you guys training at Evolve. Yeah, right. So I clicked on that. So well done on the hashtags.
Hashtags were working.
It worked back
then.
Yeah. I called the number that was attached. This guy answers with a heavy Russian accent. Yeah. He's like, "Hi, my name is Martin. Yeah. What can I do for you?" I said, "Look, I've seen what you guys are doing. I think it's really cool. Yeah. How do I get on?" So he's like, "Look, tomorrow there's this slot available. Come check us out. See what we're doing here." Yeah, right. And so that's when I started a different type of training. Yeah, more functional. More functional type of training.
What made you want to make that call, mate? What was it about functional training that you sort of thought, this looks all right?
Yeah, mate, on the pictures it just looked like some really cool stuff going on. Yeah. Things I've never ever done before. So I just wanted to say, hey, man, this looks so cool. I want to try it. I want to see if I can do it.
And how was it?
My first ever session? Yeah. I don't know if I want to talk about that.
Come on, mate. You'll inspire many people. People are listening. They know that their first session, or maybe they're thinking about a first session. So to hear it from a coach now.
Okay. So coming from a sort of bodybuilding background, I came in thinking, okay, I could do everything. So Martin, I remember he got me doing some back squats first, which I thought were fine. And then he told me, right, go over there and you're going to lunge to me. So I started lunging. Halfway through the lunges, I think I was only 7 meters through the lunge. I stopped. I started to feel sick. I said, Martin, I need to go home.
Really? What did he say?
Yeah. Hey, he's like, go to the bathroom, wash your face, and come back. I tried that, and I was like, no, I need to go home. So it's like, okay, go home, come back tomorrow.
Isn't it brilliant?
Mate, the next day, we started off, I remember very clearly because it was a shock to me.
Right.
He's like, so there was a dumbbell on the floor. He's like, right, you're going to pick up that dumbbell, take it overhead. Dumbbell snatch.
Yeah.
He's like, you're going to do 30. I got to about 10. Same thing happened. Started to feel sick. I said, Martha, I need to go home again.
2 days in a row.
2 days in a row. The first day as well. I think he was only doing an assessment on my movement pattern.
Yeah.
I couldn't even take that. Coming from what I thought was being fit by going to the gym.
Incredible, mate. Yeah. Incredible. So that's the sort of baptism of fire, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mate, it's funny, and for those of you that are listening, don't worry, that still happens now. I had a girl that came in yesterday and she didn't quite make it through the warm-up. Doesn't make her a bad person. It's just where she is on that journey. Yeah. But mate, that obviously gave you a lot of motivation to sort of pursue this thing called CrossFit. When did you sort of think that this could be something you could do or you wanted to do for a living?
Yeah. So the more I did it, obviously back then I was back and forth between Dubai and England because of my university and work.
Yeah.
Once I was in England, I joined CrossFit gym. Just doing classes, day by day. I was getting better, physically, mentally. Like it changed my lifestyle. It changed my lifestyle around almost 180 degrees.
Yeah. I mean, mate, that's something that we hear a lot in CrossFit.
Yeah.
It seems to change more people's lives than sort of a regular gym does, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why do you think that is?
See, I think CrossFit it's not just a way of working out. It's more of a lifestyle where you work hard. You push outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You eat well. You learn to sort of sleep well. You learn to change your habits that make you a better human being.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? It's funny how, like I say, CrossFit has done it, but the conventional gym doesn't really do it.
Not at all. See, the conventional gym, I would go in, I would remember going in by myself, doing a few things here and there, walking out, feeling exactly the same,
Yeah.
Not much of a change. Just the fact that I can say, I've just been to the gym. But I mean, there was no mental change going on in my head.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that I've seen, obviously, in CrossFit, mate. Like, people just change in so many different ways. A lot of people say it's the community, the workouts, all kinds of different stuff, mate. One thing I want to jump into is you're a family man.
Oh yeah,
you have a number of children that we know about. 4, mate. Talk us through that, because you're still quite young and. Obviously, I remember I was having a conversation one day, about how I think it was when you were doing the internship, about how you want to be a fit dad. You want to show an example for the kids. So talk us through that a little bit.
Yeah. Look, this again just springs out of the fact that how unhealthy I was, not even realizing how unhealthy I was until I started sort of training with CrossFit methods.
Yeah.
So how it started off. So me and my wife at school, we started going out grade 7, which is a while back. Comes to grade 12 when we both finished school. We're deciding, all right, what we're gonna do next, where we're gonna go for university, and we both decided to go to northeast of England because we had some connections there.
Yeah.
So we thought, right, let's go there, and as it happens, just family came next.
Yeah.
There was 1, and there was 2, 3, and 4.
Just haven't stopped.
Yeah, it just didn't stop. And then at the same time, I was getting into CrossFit with my first child.
Yeah.
And all these lifestyle changes were happening, and I was like, for me, I just wanted to get better and better every day, and for me to show my kids that. It was just something I felt I wanted to do.
Yeah, Right, it's. I mean, it's great, and it's great to see them, especially your 2 oldest boys, grow up now, and you see just it's wild. I've still got quite a lot of the photos of a few years ago when he started doing CrossFit with us, and mate, you're a great example. Mate, let's talk a little bit about your coaching. Obviously, you spent the 2 years prior to starting with us here at InnerFight at Platform Gym. Yeah. You've worked tirelessly over there. It was a new gym. Talk us through a little bit about your coaching journey so far. I think that's important for people to hear.
Yeah, so my coaching journey started at after the internship here, where I learned a lot. It gave me the tools that I needed, obviously, to go and sort of run that gym by myself.
Yeah.
Started there, brand new gym. Started with zero members. I even remember going in saying, right, this is the spot we're going to choose. This is everything we need. That's it. Let's get the show running.
Yeah.
Day one comes, we're opening the gym, right? We got to, set up our sort of scheduling, set up our classes, sort of decide on the kind of people we want through the door, how we're going to run the gym. Few months down the lane, classes are running fine. What I was trying to do mostly was trying to just build the sort of community, get the guys in, just get them moving. Once they get moving, they sort of self-realize look, this is what we need to do.
Yeah. And they started to realize, mate, you built something there that's, for people that haven't seen it, you built something. It's easy to say, we went in and we saw this place and we ordered the equipment and then we started to build community. But to make it come to life is something, it's a little bit different, huh?
Yeah, no, man. Like some of the guys that were there were just like they would come in not just for the class, they would come in and hang out a few hours before, hang out for a while, do their own stretches, do their own workouts, maybe do the class with us, hang out afterwards as well. It was about them coming to this place and just sort of feeling comfortable.
Amazing, mate. Well, I think what you did, and I keep telling you, is absolutely incredible. Yeah. What you've also done in that time, mate, is you've also developed yourself as a CrossFit athlete. You're very close to making the games this year. How do you mix your coaching and your athletic goals? Because I think that's, as we've seen, a lot of people have really screwed that up. So how do you mix the two, mate?
Mate, look, it's pretty easy. Look, your coaching goals. You know the number of hours you're there to coach your classes. You know the number of hours you're there to help your people. So you set those aside and say, right, these hours are dedicated to making these guys better. Right. You get that done. Remaining of the hours is when you work on yourself.
Yeah, right.
That's when.
Why do some people find it so hard to balance, though, mate?
Hey, I think it's all about balancing. I think what helps me is the fact that I've had 4 kids from an early age. Yeah, it sort of showed me how I can sort of balance things to help me.
Yeah, right. Well, mate, you do a really good job. Yeah. You were very close, as I said there, you're very close to making the CrossFit Games this year. Yeah. That obviously has to give you quite a decent thirst for next year, mate. Yeah, where's your head at on that?
I think it's fuel the fire.
Really?
Like there's a term called leaderboarding when the Open comes up, which is when you're constantly looking at the leaderboard. Yeah. And I haven't experienced what that means until this year. Yeah. Just being so close, knowing that there's a big chance I can do it. It's just driven me so much more.
So you're excited about the Open coming up?
Very much.
September?
October.
Yeah. Mate, we're going to be keeping a close eye on that. Yeah. Mate, we're almost out of time, but before we wrap up, I want to ask you, you've obviously learned a lot along the way with your background, with 4 kids, with the whole journey that you've had. If you could wrap it up in one piece of advice that you can leave people with, what would that bit of advice be?
So, coming from my own experience again, what I tell people already is to move more for a better life.
Right.
Some of my friends say, "Oh, how come? How do I become like you?" For example, I say, "Man, just wake up in the morning. If you want to go for a run, go for a run. If you can't go for a run, come into a class, come into one of our classes. Do a 60-minute group class. If you can't do that, go out for a walk. Do something that lets your body move in a way. Yeah. Physically,
I think that's very important, man. I think that's one of the reasons why people are in so much trouble these days, because they're just not moving.
Lack of movement. Once you move as well, your body automatically gets energized. Once you feel that energy, man, it can drive you to do anything you want in life.
Absolutely. Yeah. Minhal, mate, we're excited to have you here. We're looking forward to what you bring. You've already made a massive impact, mate. So thanks for being with us, and thanks for sharing the story.
I'm super excited to be here and just give everything I've got.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks a lot, mate.
Thank you.
And the third and final coach, new male coach that we've got. We've just managed to figure out how to put the headphones on him. He's now got the mic in his hand. Ladies and gentlemen, Lloyd, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. You?
Mate, very good, thank you.
No, I've got the mic to my mouth.
You've got a mic. Keep it nice and close so we can hear you.
Cool.
Mate, You just told us one thing there, that people have been actually calling the gym and asking where you're from.
Well, it wasn't a call, but it was an Instagram message asking where in Shire am I from, so they wanted to know whereabouts in England I was from. But yeah,
Mate,
I think they love the accent.
They love the accent. Share it with us, mate. Whereabouts in the UK are you from to come with an accent like that?
So I am from Lancashire,
Yep.
northern part of the UK, preferably now profound as this Lancashire accent here.
Yeah. For those that don't know, where I'm from in the UK, Yorkshire and Lancashire once had a very big war. So for us to sit here and do this show shows that we're quite forward thinking. Mate, give us a little bit of background. Brought up over there in Lancashire. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing, what life was like.
Brought up in Preston, a little village called Bamber Bridge. When I was growing up, it wasn't the nicest of villages.
Yeah.
I think I did pretty well trying to stay away from kind of like the bad group of people.
Yeah.
Always kind of had like an older head on me
Right.
growing up. So I knew what was good for me, staying away from those people that was bad for me. So I think I did pretty well with that kind of thing.
Yeah. What sort of stuff, mate? Talk us through that, because a lot of people, not a lot of people that listen to the show, but a lot of people, it's quite easy growing up these days for a lot of people. There's not much hardship. We grow up, especially here in Dubai, in quite nice areas. Just spoke to Minhal before. He grew up down in Mankool area, which is not too rough at all. But what challenges did you face, mate?
Oh mate, walking home at the weekend, for example, I knew which roads or which corners to avoid.
Really?
So it would be taking detours just to avoid those kind of corners that people would be stood on.
Really?
Just to avoid the conflict you get from those people on the corners. So
Wow.
yeah,
What do you
I
think
kind of knew who they were.
Yeah.
They'd go to the school, be in the same sort of age group, but yeah, come the weekend, they just tend to be a different kind of person.
Really?
And if you'd walk by on your own, they'd probably say a few things and things
Really?
would escalate. So yeah, always took the back route and got home pretty safe, which was good.
So what was it like at school then, mate? If you're experiencing sort of that, this mic is making a funny noise. We're all good. What was it like at school then for you in the early days of school? What was sport to you? How did you get into sport? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, school was different than actually back home on the streets. So in school, I'd say I was quite popular.
Right.
I had a good group of friends.
Yeah.
And I'd always kind of stay with those. So I kind of stay with the people who would played a lot of sports. So it was a lot of football in the playground or in the cages that we used to call them.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of football growing up at school. I used to get involved all I could within the PE.
Yeah.
I liked a bit of badminton as well growing up.
Really?
So I tend to
I don't think we've had
dab
anyone
on the badminton.
Really? I love badminton,
Yeah,
mate.
I love it.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I'm not gonna.
We used to always have the top court and bottom court. You used to start at the bottom, work your way up, and I used to always be near the top court with a guy who used to be really handy with a bat called Andrew Murray. It wasn't the Andrew Murray that we know of tennis, but this other Andrew Murray was really good with the badminton bat and a tennis bat. So it used to always be me and him up there playing badminton. And then kind of like out of school, it was a lot of jiu-jitsu as well.
Right.
Which they're my first sort of memories doing sport, jiu-jitsu and football.
Who was influential in your life, mate, when you were growing up? Did you have role models? Were they football stars? Who did you sort of look up to when it came to sport and motivation?
Yeah, for me, I don't think it was such a superstar.
Yeah.
I think it was more people that was involved with my journey on what I was doing. So my football coaches, my mum, obviously. My mum was a single mum. She brought me up all alone. So my mum's pretty cool, pretty laid back. She's an awesome person. My coaches, my jiu-jitsu coach, back at the time, he was like 10 years older than me.
Right.
We're still pretty good friends now.
Really?
I used to work for him part-time, so I used to do the jiu-jitsu when I was younger in his class.
Wow.
Then I used to start helping him, going to schools and delivering jiu-jitsu sessions for him and with him.
Right.
And then from that, we did more corporate stuff like teaching the self-defense and the restraint courses.
Yeah.
So this is the same guy
Wow.
that started teaching me jiu-jitsu early years.
How old were you when you started jiu-jitsu?
Mate, I must have been about 5 or 6.
Really?
Yeah, it was a Saturday afternoon. My mum just used to take me there whether I liked it or not.
Just get you out of her way.
Yeah, Saturday afternoon she'd go and do her thing. I'd be there for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. I mean, first couple of months I didn't really want to go, but I started to enjoy it.
Yeah,
Met some friends, and like I said, the guy used to teach me. We were still pretty good friends now. I used to work for him part-time before coming over here.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, just normal people that actually helped me grow up in life.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because a lot of people, if you ask that question to a lot of people, you get it's quite a rare answer that you've given. I'm quite the same, mate. Like I didn't look up to many sports stars. Like I remember all the teachers. I remember my dad and his role he had. So it's quite. I think it's quite unique the way that you sort of described that.
It's good that you mentioned like teachers, teachers that actually helped me. I remember.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Actually sat me down and spoke to me and actually helped me. I remember those teachers. And that's the kind of role that I want to have in people's life at the minute, right, with coaching. Actually helping people, making the effort and caring about people. And I think when people actually think about you as being that person, that's awesome.
It's super
sweet.
Good.
Yeah.
Mate, do you still I want to carry on a little bit on the jiu-jitsu side. Are you still involved in jiu-jitsu? Do you still play, practice?
I don't, mate. I think it was when I was dead young. I think it's just kind of like a money-making thing for I mean, obviously the person who's now a friend of mine, he used to make money from it, and I think jiu-jitsu, and it's big over here, but in England it was just kind of like a money-making thing.
Right.
And maybe I know about 2 or 3 moves right now, and that's about it. Everything else I forgot. I worked up to a junior black belt, but
so I'm still safe to abuse you.
I do know self-defense and restraint a lot lot more. So still gotta be careful.
We'll keep it casual, mate. Talk to us about your first sort of experience in the gym. What was that like?
Well, in a CrossFit gym.
Either.
I started
first memories of being in the gym.
Virgin Active.
Yeah.
I got dragged to Virgin Active. Pretending I knew what I was doing. A lot of bench pressing when I was maybe 15, 16.
Awesome, huh?
Yeah. Nothing like to what training is now.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in Virgin Active, and then when CrossFit come about, I wanted to do a Tough Mudder race.
Right.
So, big race in England, obviously Tough Mudder, this OCR that's going on at the minute.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to get fit for a Tough Mudder and do really well for that.
Right.
And I'd seen this CrossFit gym, so I went over to the CrossFit gym to get fit for the Tough Mudder.
Interesting,
yeah. The CrossFit gym actually had like a specific program for Tough Mudder.
Wow.
So I signed on to that.
Right.
And that's how CrossFit come about.
Which CrossFit gym did you go to?
It was CrossFit Leyland.
Right.
Back in Preston.
And what was it like, mate? First time, I'm always interested to hear from people like the first time they walked into a CrossFit gym.
Yeah.
What did you feel like? What was it like?
I walked in first of all thinking I was pretty fit.
Yeah.
I played a lot of football back then.
Right.
I think it was a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning my taster session was.
Right.
And I think I'd had a few drinks the night before. And I turned up for my taster session, mate, and my God, it was a 7-minute workout, and I was sat down on a box for 3.5 minutes of those.
Really?
Yeah, the coaches did not know I was going to be turning up again. I literally did not know. I was doing war balls.
Yeah.
And then I just felt my body just like give in.
Really?
Like battery level, like, on like a PlayStation game, a battery level just go down and down. And that's what it felt like. My body just stopped.
Yeah.
I had to sit on a box, and I was sat there for a good 20 minutes afterwards.
So how did that
I was hooked.
finish? Yeah, I was going to say, so how did that session finish up? And how do you end up going back, mate?
Yeah.
Because I think this is something that everyone's going through, right?
Yeah, I think I'm quite sadistic like that. I think anything that I find tough, or anything that I kind of fail, I kind of want more of it. I want to go back and smash it.
Yeah.
So I think that was my mentality on that workout. I mean, it was 7 minutes, and I couldn't hack a 7-minute workout.
Yeah.
In fact, I was sat in a box, shaking. People were giving me water. Didn't know what was going on. So, and then the coaches were saying he's never going to come back. We won't see him again. You know, and that kind of swayed me the opposite direction.
Right.
And I think I was back a couple of days after, and
you went
the
back.
rest is history, right?
Mate, you moved over to the UAE a few years ago. Talk to us a little bit about your journey in the UAE and also what you've learned through your coaching journey, because you've coached all sorts of different people. You've worked in a couple of different gyms, and I'm sure people are interested to hear about that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's my 5th year in the UAE now.
Yeah.
And I come over for a job, so I got the job first.
Right.
And it happened pretty quickly. I think within 3 weeks of actually getting the job, I was over in the UAE. And for those that don't know, I went first of all straight to Al Ain. Yeah. Which is probably not the best places to start for most people. But again, like you said, for me, I've learned a lot working for like 2.5, 3 years in Al Ain.
Yeah, right.
I learned a lot, mate. My first 2 years was working with just all Emirati men.
Wow.
And no women at all in the gym.
Wow.
Yeah, which was an experience. I picked up a few Arabic words that I needed to know for the workouts and stuff.
Really?
Met some really good people.
Yeah.
When people say to you, did you have that, the shock of the culture shock?
Yeah.
That actually didn't really happen for me.
It's interesting.
Really weird. Yeah, that is interesting, right? It's like all Emirati men, No expats. I think there might have been 1 or 2 expats that had come in the gym.
And a lad from Lancashire.
I mean, yeah.
How old were you when you came over?
5 years ago, right? So
Yeah.
22, 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty young.
Wow.
The gym was cool. I got there. I think they'd not been doing CrossFit for a long time at all. It's a pretty new gym.
Right.
Pretty run down. It was quite easy for me going in there because people didn't actually know what they were doing.
Right.
So it was actually me working on a clean slate. So I
Right.
went in there and I taught
Nice.
them what I knew.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, I still see people from the gym now,
Yeah.
from 3-4 years ago, and they still say hello. They still message me on Instagram and stuff, and yeah, it's pretty sweet.
It's incredible, mate. It's funny. Obviously, we've done Minhal before and Riccardo at the start, and everyone's coaching story is quite similar. The way that you guys have come from a super challenging coaching background.
Yeah.
Riccardo was teaching in Bali, new people every single day, which for me is almost my biggest nightmare. Like, you finally crack something with someone after a few weeks, and then the next day they're gone. Minhal built the gym over at Platform before it recently closed down, and you've done your time, or as it were, in LA, and you've all got this. Do you think that's something that maybe not every coach goes through, mate, but is a really important part of coaching?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it took me a long time to get to InnerFight. I think working at InnerFight was one of my goals coming over in the UAE.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I'm here now.
Yeah.
I think my journey might have took longer than others.
Yeah.
But looking back now, I would not change anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all those experiences, like them 3 years, 2 years with the Arab guys.
Yeah.
And then the other gyms that I've been working at, picking up different things from different people.
Yeah.
A lot more nationalities, not just the Arab men,
Yeah.
but then people that are here from maybe America, Canada,
Yeah.
and people that I'd meet that I would not meet at home at all.
Yeah.
you know?
I imagine, mate, it must have been literally a massive culture shock coming from where you come from in the UK, and that kind of stuff we were talking about before, where there's some streets on the weekend that you wouldn't even walk around, to the Middle East, to the UAE.
I wouldn't say a culture shock. I think I'm just really laid back, right?
Yeah.
So things like that just don't bother me.
Really?
Yeah, I just kind of get on with my day-to-day
Just
things.
crack on with it.
Yeah, England's what it is, and the UAE is what it is. Obviously, it's a lot safer here.
Yeah.
I feel a lot safer
Yeah.
walking the streets at 2 a.m. here than I would back at home, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, there was nothing that obviously shocked me. I didn't have to like settle in at any point, and it didn't take me a while to get going. I just kind of went straight in there, and just pretty laid back, and I just kind of go with the flow. And I think that's the best sort of.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can learn from that as well,
definitely.
mate. Just taking it easy.
Yeah,
mate, when it comes to coaching, what motivates you about coaching, and maybe what sort of coach are you? What gives you the biggest satisfaction in coaching as well?
It's just getting them normal people that, like, we had Gene the other day, for example, jump in the 24-inch box for the first time.
Yeah.
It's just little things like that get me.
Yeah.
Right? It's just seeing people do ordinary things, but they smash it, right? So jumping on the box isn't a big problem for most people.
Yeah.
But for most members,
Yeah.
it's one big achievement, right?
Yeah.
And it's also, I mean, I remember doing my first ever 30-inch box jump, or my first ever kipping pull-up.
Yeah.
And the feeling,
It's a big moment,
we can all
isn't it?
relate to that feeling, right? Whether it's just after a workout and we're all absolutely dying on the floor, or the first, your first pull-up, we can all relate to that.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that we can relate to that and we've all been in that position,
Yeah.
it's awesome. Like, some people will find me laughing at them
Yeah.
doing some like pull-up or the box jumps, and I'm laughing because I can relate to how they're feeling, right? And it's just awesome.
I think that's one of the biggest things about sort of coaching, because we can all. Your story of your first CrossFit workout is not too much different to Riccardo's, to Minhal's. If I was to tell mine, it's all very similar, mate. Yeah. And we can all relate to it. But I think sometimes that coach-client relationship, people don't understand that we've been through it, mate.
Yeah. We've all suffered, We've all suffered. It never gets easier.
Well,
you still come back through the door, right?
Talking about that, mate. Talking about your own training, how do you motivate yourself in your own training? What are some of your training goals? What do you train towards?
Mate, it's slightly changed. I mean, since coming to InnerFight, it has changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Before coming here, a few shoulder niggles.
Yeah.
So, less CrossFit style snatches and stuff.
Yeah.
And just more getting fit, doing stuff what I enjoy.
Yeah.
And working around the injuries.
Yeah.
I'm obviously I'm making me sound a little bit older now, but just working around that. I think me and Minhal have the morning stuff in the morning, so morning movement in the morning, which is really good.
That's super nice.
One morning we could come in, it's fairly easy stuff, easy to pick up on, but one morning I could come in like today, I went pretty tough, went pretty hard, got a good sweat on. Other mornings I could come in, just take it a little bit easy, chill, just chill out, get a workout done.
Yeah.
And then in the evenings now, I'm just doing a little bit more functional bodybuilding stuff, which you've seen and take the mick out of me
Yeah,
for.
you and Ben doing, but mate, there's nothing wrong with doing bicep curls. I posted some on my Instagram
That's it, I'm trying
recently.
my best, mate. And then with regards to things outside the gym, just trying to get comfortable with doing different things.
Yeah.
So a bit of the OCR running when it comes back up.
Yeah.
I might do the Schalke run on Saturday.
Awesome.
Think about doing that. So just different
Did
things
half
that I've not
marathon
usually
recently with Minhal, or you did the marathon I go you go
That's
style
it, yeah.
on the track?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that. I think until the last
Did
5
you,
laps.
Did you really?
Mate, yeah, I think when everybody started turning up at 6 o'clock,
Yeah.
or your morning track Tuesday
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
that's when I started to suffer. Beforehand, I was actually on good form. But
You were in good shape when I got there, mate.
Yeah.
Awesome, mate. Let's wrap it up. You've learnt a lot. You've had an interesting childhood background, coaching, like life. You've had a lot of good life experiences. If you could give people one piece of advice, if you can bundle all of what you've learned to date up, what would your advice be to the people?
For me, not all storms are here to mess you up.
Right.
All right. Some storms are here to clear your path.
Wow.
So I just think of that when you're going through the hardships, get through to the other side,
Yeah.
and you might just see that clear path.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Very
my piece
cool.
of advice.
I don't really have anything else to say on that.
Awesome.
Lloyd, it's awesome to have you with us, mate. You've made an impact already in your coaching. You coach in a way that I think it's easy for people to relate to, mate. So we're excited, and thanks for taking the time to chat to us.
Thanks for having me. Good man.
Awesome.